So I guess today is my birthday. And what are the things I'm reflecting upon this year? And, you know, what are the things that are going to make this a good year moving forward? And what do I feel good about and what do I feel not so good about? What is this birthday bringing to me at this moment? I think I'm thinking about mostly things that I'm grateful for, which sounds like some kind of cliche, but I am thinking about that. Like I'm grateful to be in this apartment. I'm grateful to have a home, to feel warm, to be fed. You know, I'm grateful to have a car. I'm grateful to have this camera, to be working on a project that means something to me. I'm grateful for the people in my life who love me, care about me, and the people who I care about, and the people who inspire me to do the best that I can do every day, not only as an artist, but as a human being. I mean, in a funny kind of way, I'm actually grateful for all the mistakes, all the confusing things, you know, all the difficult things, because I know that, you know, in my case, I'm always trying my best to turn those things into something beautiful, you know, something creative that I can actually share. And I get a lot from that, you know, like I get this exchange from people that I learn from and that I grow from, hopefully. You know, that's the goal for everybody, right? To grow, to learn, to be better. I'm thinking a lot today about the people who I've lost over the past few years. And in some cases, sadly, people who've taken their own lives. Thinking about a friend of mine named Krista Victoria, who nobody's really sure if she took her own life, but I know that what she was going through right before she passed and the way she died, it just makes me wonder. I know it's definitely a possibility that she could have done that. I was just about to direct her first solo play, you know, and I had tried to encourage her. She was also an adoptee. She had been adopted when she was a kid. She had this amazing story, and I always kind of tried to push her and encourage her to share that story. And she finally called me one day and she's like, "Yo, Rock, I wrote it. I wrote my story and I want you to direct it." And I was honored by that because I'm not really a director, but she came to see me perform so many times. And actually, she gave me one of the most meaningful moments that I've ever had at a show. I had performed my play Brooklyn Quartet, and there's a part of that play where the character Esther Alvarez reveals to her boyfriend Jamal that she had been raped every day when she was 8 years old, 9 years old, and 10 years old when she was a kid by her grandfather. And this is based on a true story from somebody I know, somebody who's very dear to me and very close to me. And Krista came up to me after the show, and I could tell she was kind of shook, you know, she was upset. And I was like, "Are you okay?" And she said, "I need to talk to you." I was like, "Okay." And she goes, "Esther, I could help you with that. Like, it was really good, but I can help you with that." I said, "Okay." So we met the next day, and she shared with me that she had gone through that exact story. And she said to me, "I love what you did, and I'm sure that the person who experienced that and shared that with you, you know, told you how it felt, but I want to tell you how it felt to me because we're artists, we're comrades in arms, you know, we're fellow playwrights and performers and artists in general, musicians. Like, I want to tell you how it felt so that when you perform, you can feel in your chest what I felt. And I think that'll help other people, you know, who might have to hear, you know, need to hear that story, who've been through something similar." And so if you're willing, I'd like to share a lot with you tonight. And she did. And, you know, even though it was based on a true story and I had gotten it from, like I said, somebody who I loved dearly, Krista explained it, I guess maybe because I was older too. It was many years later after I had heard the story originally. And, you know, I'm a different person 20 years later. And, yeah, it made it a much better play, to say the least, and made me a better person. It just grew my empathy. And I'll never forget that. Krista, man, she was amazing. Her mother wrote a film about her called Finding Krista. And it actually went to Sundance. And I believe it might have won Sundance. But it was very complicated for her and her mother. They had a weird relationship. Krista actually wrote a book about it, and that's what this play was about. And it took her whole lifetime to be able to write this personal story. And it just kills me, you know, that she was about to perform it. And she just, you know, like her life became so stressful and so crazy. And I just feel like she just couldn't be here anymore. So I'm grateful for everything that she gave me. She was one of the most supportive friends that I ever had. You know, I mean, we weren't close like that, but we were close in terms of other artists that I knew. She gave me a lot, and I'll never forget that. Thinking about a lot of friends, you know, thinking about, you know, some of the good things and some of the not so good things, and how, you know, I'm in like elevated gratitude about the confusing, painful, sad things that, you know, push me to have more empathy and to understand that it ain't all about me. And it's just not always just about how I feel or what I'm experiencing, that there's another person involved. And I've had many experiences like that over the years. You know, people definitely come into my life for a season. That's what it feels like. Like I have a few lifers, but very few. And I know that I'm a better person for the disappointments that I've had. And I know it helps my art, and it makes me a better person too. I know that. And, you know, I think I learned too, you know, with the death of my mother and the death of my father, you know, my adoptive parents, that because I had the most beautiful part of my relationship with them while they were sick and dying, it just made me realize that some of the most horrific things in life can be the most beautiful things, you know? That death, illness can be beautiful because people become very vulnerable and very open. This is me on my birthday, thinking about that. Thinking about this film that I'm working on, and this journey that I've had, and how I've had a couple of disappointments, you know, and I've gone to shoot a couple of things and there have been obstacles, and it's amazing because, you know, I came home and I was all frustrated and pissed off, you know, and just really disappointed, and then I had to rewrite the script, and every single time that happened, it's made it a better film, a better story. I'm actually getting to work with two amazing artists on this film who are acting in it with me. Now, my first movie obviously was just a solo film. I was the only person in it, but this, I have two scenes with two beasts of actors, like really powerful performers and great people, people who I admire and who I really am inspired by. And, you know, we've kind of come up together in the performance, you know, community in New York, and I'm just really excited about that. But it also makes it harder, because it's harder for me to do this with other people. I don't know why, but it's hard for me. I think it's because that's the kind of person I am. It's hard for me to be with other people sometimes. I think it's hard for people to be with me, but you know, I'm growing and hopefully constantly evolving and changing and becoming more of a fully formed human being. So yeah, on my birthday, I guess I'm thinking about growth and time, and how I have to be really judicious with my time and what I choose to endeavor upon, the kind of work that I want to take on. And because, you know, every time I get involved with a project, it takes like 5-6 years of my life. So I'm kind of at a point where it's like I got to be really careful. I got to make sure that everything I do is with great intention and is going to make the best contribution to others, because I want to leave some kind of legacy in this world. And I think about that a lot. So, you know, I guess what else? Some things that are not so deep. I'm selling my anamorphic lens, which, you know, I was so excited about, and I am so excited about it, but I've decided, you know, like I'm really not in a position to have a set of anamorphics and to just have one focal length. It just doesn't really make sense. It's not the right tool for the work that I'm doing right now. So I'm going to get myself a good solid zoom lens for this Panasonic S5. I'm going to get the Sigma 28-75, I think. It's light. It's got good autofocus, you know, even though I don't use autofocus all that much. When I'm working with other people, it is good to have. Yeah, I don't use it that much, but it's definitely good to have. You know, it's funny, talking about Krista again, you know, when I was deciding which camera to buy recently, and I was going through this, you know, crazy up and down process between Panasonic S5 or Sony FX30, or maybe the FX3, or maybe the A7S3 if I was going to spend more money. You know, and I chose the S5, I'm sure Krista would have said to me, why are you always choosing the hard way to go? Like, why are you always trying to make the most difficult path the journey that you are choosing? Like, you work so hard, you know, you're so dedicated, you're so committed to your work. Why don't you, like, you know, choose the easier path? You don't have to always do it the most difficult way. I know she would say that to me. A lot of people say that to me. And it is true, I do choose the most difficult path. And I love this camera, but it was the most difficult path, you know? I think it's the best image quality, it's got the best stabilization. That helps me a lot. But and it's packed with stuff, you know? And I bought it in large part because of the anamorphic capabilities, but now I'm realizing that, and you know, I could only have learned this using this anamorphic lens extensively for a couple of months. It's not where I'm at right now. You know, it's not appropriate for this film, for this project right here, for what I'm trying to communicate, you know, what I'm trying to share, you know, what I'm trying to get on the screen, you know, from my chest to the screen so I could share my heart with people. It's not the right tool for this particular story. So maybe in the future, you know, I'll come back to it, but for right now, I'm trying to do the right thing, and I'm trying to make it easier for myself so that I can just express myself and not work so hard, not expend so much energy on the technical aspects and the physical making of the film, and be able to immerse myself more in the emotional parts. So, anyway, happy birthday to me. You know, I digress. Thinking about, very grateful for the people who've come to my YouTube channel. It's a small channel. I'm not sitting here saying, hit the like button, subscribe. I really only want people here who want to be here. I'm grateful for social media and what it's done for me, although if I'm being really honest, I kind of hate social media a lot of the time. You know, Facebook, Instagram, it's just, I don't look at it much. I post because it's what I have to do for my work. And social media really has been very good to me over the years, but it's changed a lot, and I'm not a big fan, but I kind of love YouTube. I guess because I've learned so much from it. And also the energy just feels different to me. So I'm grateful for the people here, and who knows, you know, maybe I'll have 1 million subscribers one day, but it's going to be because I'm being genuine, because that's all I know how to do. So that's where I'm at. It's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Happy birthday to me. And thank you to everybody in my life and every person that I've come across who has given me whatever they've given me. It's made me who I am. It's a big birthday, and hopefully there'll be many more. I hope so. I know I'm going to make the most of every day. I'm grateful to be healthy enough to do this project right now. So, yeah. Happy birthday to me. Thanks for watching. Onward we go.